Disney has produced some of the most adored animated films of all time, yet when examined too closely, they can begin to break apart. There have been some huge plot holes that either make or break the film. Stick around to find out some of the biggest plot holes in Disney movies that fans may not have noticed, and that will definitely surprise you. Stay tuned for all the inside details. First, we have Cinderella's shoe size. Disney's films are widely considered to be among the best family entertainment options available. Strong tales, fascinating characters, and immersive landscapes have earned the company praise from both children and adults. Disney has set box office records and created new masterpieces that are beloved by people all over the world in recent years. In fact, during their opening weekend, Disney films are virtually always at the top of the box office. It's also not uncommon for their films to remain at the top for multiple weeks. However, this does not imply that Disney's execution is flawless. Even Disney's most adored films contain apparent storyline holes that irritate audiences. The first plot hole that fans may not be aware of is Cinderella's shoe size. Cinderella leaves a single glass slipper behind as she flees the prince at the ball just as the clock strikes midnight. Cinderella's night of pleasure and love is now a distant memory as she is relegated to the life of a servant once more. When the prince arrives and lays the glass slipper on her foot, however, everything changes. He identifies Cinderella as the woman he met at the ball when it fits perfectly. Even though this is intended to be a joyful moment, it's difficult to realize Cinderella's shoe size is the only one in the realm. The slipper may easily fit dozens, if not hundreds of ladies who have the same or comparable shoe sizes. It's certainly likely that the prince encountered several women who fit into the glass shoe and didn't identify Cinderella. Next, the prince's age in Beauty and the Beast doesn't add up. Fans of Beauty and the Beast can't get their heads around a plot hole in the film. A young prince answers the door and discovers an old, haggard witch seeking shelter from the cold at the start of the film. For his unkindness, the witch curses him by turning him into a beast. The animation gives the impression that this is a young adult or older teen. They say if he doesn't find true love by the age of 21, he'll be cursed to be a beast for the rest of his life. He is not far from being 21 years old when the story begins. Lumiere says in Be My Guest that they've needed so much more than dusting for 10 years, hinting that they've been turned into objects for at least a decade. The prince has been a beast for 10 years and is about to become 21. That means he couldn't have been more than 11 years old when the sorceress turned him into a beast for being nasty. When the sorceress arrived, where were his parents? Why weren't they made into things or animals as well? What grown-up expects an 11-year-old to be selfless and hospitable? Has the sorceress ever met an adolescent? This could have been avoided if they hadn't stated in the opening narration that he'll be cursed for the rest of his life at the age of 21. Next, is Aladdin a fake prince? Aladdin's first wish with the genie in the film Aladdin is to become a prince. This isn't surprising, given his obsessive desire to make Princess Jasmine fall in love with him. However, as Aladdin considers making his final wish to set Genie free, Genie suggests that he can restore Aladdin's status as a prince instead. This is perplexing since it raises two possibilities. Was Aladdin a phony prince before his first wish? He longed to be a prince, but not in the sense of acting or dressing like one, and Genie granted his wish. So why would Genie have to turn him back into a prince? If that was the case, when did Aladdin stop being a prince? Viewers might believe that once Aladdin is made a prince, he would remain thus until the genie takes it away. It's a minor story point, but one that continues to irritate viewers to this day. Up next, Hades must have known Hercules was still alive. Hades would have known Hercules had made it out alive. Zeus conducted a frenzied search and rescue, including Ares, Hermes, and many other gods after Pain and Panic's failed attempt to kill Hercules. Hercules was discovered, but he was already dead. Hera and Zeus cried over their son's death. At that moment, everyone on Olympus would know what had happened to Zeus's son. After all, how could you not know what happened to him, especially when his birthday had just passed? Hercules is in his teens, probably 18 years old, when he is last seen. That means Hades has been utterly aware for nearly 2 decades that his arch-foe's offspring are alive and wandering among the mortals. It wasn't a secret, so Hades would have found out eventually, especially since while living in the underworld, he is constantly interested in the affairs of the other gods. Another one for the list, the natives speak English in Pocahontas. When John Smith and the other explorers arrive in the New World, they come across a new culture that is not as highly sophisticated as they are. Surprisingly, they learn that these newcomers, including Pocahontas, speak the mother tongue's language, English. If this is Pocahontas' first meeting with people from the other side of the ocean, how did she manage to converse with them? Furthermore, how did the English language survive so successfully, even if explorers arrived before Pocahontas' time? While it is necessary for Pocahontas and John Smith to be able to communicate in order for the film to be entertaining, it is completely illogical from a historical standpoint. When an animated film is set in real life, this is a regular issue. Why didn't Charlotte Charlotte turn into a frog when she kissed Prince Naveen. The next plot hole on our list is a frustrating "why didn't Charlotte turn into a frog after she kissed the prince?" Mama Odie explains at the end of Princess and the Frog that the only way for Tiana and Prince Naveen to revert to human form is for Prince Naveen to kiss a princess. So Charlotte, who is temporarily a princess because her father was named King of Mardi Gras, agrees to kiss Prince Naveen. But when Charlotte embraces Prince Naveen before the clock strikes midnight, she is no longer the princess of Mardi Gras. Thus, shouldn't she have turned into a frog like Tiana? How exactly does Elsa get her magical powers? The next plot hole revolves around one of the most popular Disney movies in its time, Frozen. Elsa possesses unexplained magical abilities. Even in animated films, the audience must be aware of certain facts. Elsa, who appears to be a typical little girl at the start of the film, has magical abilities. Did she inherit them from a family member? Was she cursed in some way? Was she in some sort of mishap? It never comes up, and just because the film's creators left it open on purpose doesn't mean it's not a plot hole. Next, we have Woody's memories in Toy Story. A glaring plot hole emerges when Disney fans begin to take in the elements of Toy Story's world over the trilogy of films. Why doesn't Woody ever mention, or even appear to remember, his former owners? And why isn't he aware of his origins, i.e. an old children's show? Woody has been in Andy's family for years and hails from a 1950s television show, according to Toy Story 2. If that's the case, Woody had a previous owner before Andy, even if it was a member of the same family. When Andy sends his toys to Bonnie in Toy Story 3, it is shown that Woody will not forget Andy when he is transported to a new location and owner. But this then indicates that there was no reason for Woody to have forgotten his owner before being with Andy. Last for our list, when Stitch was in a kennel when Lilo came to pick him up. The final plot hole in our list is definitely a head-scratcher, and one that many fans probably had no idea about. When Lilo and Nanny arrived at the dog kennel where they adopted Stitch, the woman working there was taken aback, claiming that Stitch was thought to be dead when he was brought in. Why was he in the kennel for everyone to see as they walked through if she thought he was dead? It makes no sense for a kennel to house their deceased dogs with their living canines waiting to be adopted, especially when she sent a little child through there. He also awoke in the kennel cage, so he couldn't have crawled in from another room. And there you have it, everything you need to know about some of the biggest and most frustrating plot holes in some of the most beloved Disney movies of all time. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. Which of these plot holes surprised you the most? Did we forget any good ones? Let us know. But if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.